I'm 36 years old at the time of recording this video. And if you are anywhere between where I am and 55, 60 years old, and you're a business owner or you're a busy professional, maybe you work in the corporate world, and you're feeling like your energy is just dipping every day, and you're feeling more lethargic every day, and you're starting to get all these aches and pains that you never used to have, and you don't feel that that get up and go, that mojo that you used to have when you were 10 years, 15 years younger, or maybe when you were 25 is when you last felt that. Listen, it doesn't have to be like that, because the only reason you're likely feeling like that is because you haven't had the right information yet to understand exactly what is causing this and then also how to solve it. So, what's causing it? You're likely eating the wrong foods. You're likely eating lots of processed food, energy drinks, more processed food, lots of alcohol, lack of sleep, not training, not doing the right things in the gym. You're doing the things in the gym that are actually causing you to get injured. So you have maybe hip problems, shoulder issues. You don't like the way you look in the mirror. You have man boobs. You have a belly that's growing and you don't know what to do about it. You've got that spare tire around your waist you can't get rid of. You've thought about maybe liposuction or fat freezing, and you're just like not really on a good trajectory. And that's the main thing, right? Like, my name is Aaron. If you don't know who I am, if you're watching me for the first time, I've been a health coach now for about 8 years, and I've trained people from, all walks of life. Most recently, the last 5 years have been CEOs and busy professionals, corporate professionals, all over the world. And one of the things that I've noticed is that we're all very, very similar. We all want the same things. We all want to live as long as we possibly can, have as much energy as possible every day so we can get shit done. We want to feel the masculine aggression, that masculine fucking let's go. We want to feel that. And you also want to be able to perform in the bedroom, right? That's very important. And you don't want to have any issues there. And so you want to have good blood flow, all the rest of it. And you want to feel strong in your physical body. You want to feel like you're strong, and you want to look strong. You want to not necessarily have a six pack, but you want to feel strong first of all, and then you want to like look a little bit strong. Like, oh yeah, that guy actually goes to the gym. And next, for the family people out there, family men that are watching, you want to be able to play with your kids. You want to have more energy to play with your kids. I was listening to a guy once, and he told me this story. It was really, really sad to hear. He was so big. He was at the theme park with his daughter, and he was so big that he went on this ride with her, and they didn't let him on the ride because the barrier couldn't fit past his belly. His belly was blocking the barrier from locking, so he wasn't allowed on the ride with his daughter. And I always remember that story because that you don't have to let it get to that point where it's just affecting your relationships in a bad way, in a negative way, like affecting the amount of connection that you have with your loved ones. So, okay, I've talked about all that stuff now. Now you're probably still listening if you're in that situation that I just described. How do you solve this? Well, it's very simple. First of all, you need to find someone who can relate to what you're going through, number one. Number two is you need to understand that there are only a few things you need to be doing that are going to help you have more energy, increase your performance, increase your sex drive, and feel like you did when you're 25, and start to look better, lose the belly fat, and have it be sustainable. It's not a diet. Look at these birds. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. And so, if you want a diet, I'm not your man. But if you want to have a sustainable lifestyle that's healthy, that okay, if I just keep doing these things, I'm going to have a really great future ahead of me. And I'm not going to worry about all these health issues that other people worry about, because I know that what I'm doing is sustainable, it's healthy, and it's going to keep going if I just keep going, right? You're successful in other areas of your life. If you're watching this video, you're likely successful when you're in your career and you have cemented that, it's stable, everything's going well. But in this area of your life, maybe it used to be going well, but now it's not, right? And that's another thing. Maybe your health used to be good, but now it's not. So now you're watching this video. So the healthy habits are very simple. Ultimately, it's not so much about what you do, it's about what you're not doing. So right now, you probably know all the stuff that you should cut out. Most people that I talk to, that I coach, when I first talk to them, they know exactly what they should stop. The problem is it's hard to do it. Why? Because they don't have accountability with someone who actually gives a shit, who actually cares about them getting the result and is lovingly going to hold them to a higher standard. Because the only reason you're tolerating consuming junk food right now, or drinking lots of alcohol, or not getting enough sleep, yes, you have a busy job, I understand that. But outside of that, the only reason you're tolerating that is because you don't have anyone in your life who's holding you to a higher standard in this area, right? And so I would invite you to get help, even if it's not me, but to find someone who can hold you to a higher standard in this area. Because you know what, when I was starting out in my career, I met my mentor and he held me to a higher standard than I held myself to. That's how I started to make money, because he had a higher standard for this level, this area of life than I did. And similarly with my health, when I started getting in shape, someone came into my life, one of my friends, and we basically stayed in the same city together for a month. And then he got me out of my funk. Similarly, if you're in a funk right now where you just feel like, meh, and you just feel like you lost your energy, your passion, your zeal for life, you need an intervention. I had an intervention 8 years ago, or 9 years ago, and that changed my life because that was what I needed to kickstart this version of me. This version of me would not be sitting here right now if it wasn't for my friend 9 years ago saying, get your ass in the gym, let's go. And so this is the kind of masculine leadership that I'm talking about, because he held me to a higher standard, and thus I continued on the path. And I've done so much since. I've got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, so I did some Muay Thai, boxing, and just kept on the path, right? Like, I'm 36 years old and I've still got a six pack, I'm still in shape, I'm still living the lifestyle, right? I'm out here in an amazing place, as you can see. So I stayed on it. And that's the thing I'm telling you, is more and more now, people are coming up to me and they're saying, oh, you look so young for your age. And this can happen to you too, but it's just about the habits, right? Like if you eat whole foods, for example, all the stuff I'm saying is not rocket science, and you already know it, but you're not doing it. Because if you were doing it, you probably wouldn't be watching me right now. So if you're not doing it, it's because you don't have the accountability. Like you can just literally, right now, you probably, I don't know, but let's say you're watching this in your kitchen and you go in the kitchen and then well, I used to have a cupboard like this when I was growing up. It's a snacks cupboard and it's just full of all the processed garbage. Like you name it, it's in there. Pringles, fucking Cadbury's chocolate, gummy bears, like everything, all the Jaffa cakes, like digestive biscuits, custard creams, whatever it's called, the biscuits. It's in there. And all that crap is not going to make you leaner, faster, or stronger. And this is what I tell myself. Again, this is the mindset that I have. So this is a big thing, right? Like when I coach my clients before, I have a module and it's all about healthy mindset. And actually, I have a course that you can get. Click the link below this video. Maybe it's available now. I'm not sure, but if you click the link below this video, it should be there. Okay, so in the course, basically, I talk about this because I put that video in the course. And it's essentially just a healthy mindset, like how I think and how every healthy person that I've ever met thinks about food, nutrition, and training and habits like sleep. Like I sleep like it's my job. And that's how serious I take my sleep, because if you listen to anyone who talks about longevity, they always say sleep is number one. It's the biggest pillar, the biggest lever to pull for your general health. Because if you've got low testosterone and you don't feel like a man, you're not performing in the bedroom, the first thing to check is your sleep. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting 7 to 8 hours? Depending, right? Some people can sleep and have an amazing sleep only on 6 hours, which I'm super jealous of because they get an extra 2 hours a day. Me, unfortunately, if I sleep for 6 hours, I feel like a fucking zombie. So I need to get 8 hours of sleep. But are you sleeping well? Because your testosterone is made when you're sleeping. So if you're not sleeping well, you ain't gonna have high T. Simple as that. And so the next thing is, are you, like those little things, right? Like, are you getting your vitamin D every day? Like, is your immune system boosted? You know, are you supplementing with vitamin D, or are you staying in a warm country and are you going topless for about 20 minutes every day in the sun to get vitamin D? Stuff like this, right? And are you doing sauna every week? Self-care routines. Are you doing sauna at least once a week? Sauna and ice bath combination. That's going to help you increase your dopamine, increase your actually sauna after weight training actually increases the protein synthesis, which means that in that time when you eat, if you do sauna after the workout, you're actually going to build more muscle because the sauna actually inflames your muscles even more, expands the muscles even more. So yeah, and the sauna is just amazing for cardiovascular health. I used to get heartburn, and then I started doing sauna. Heartburn's gone. So yeah, sauna is just amazing for cardiovascular health, amazing for your skin, and you start to look younger. You start to feel better. You start to be more relaxed. Depression, anxiety goes away when you're in a sauna, in the ice bath. And training 3 times a week, at least 3 times a week, strength training, focusing on getting stronger, and ideally body weight training as well. So that's another thing that I'm big on. But if you can't do body weight, just do weights. But at least focus on improving and trying to get stronger in the exercises that you are doing. And there's a whole way to do that, right? Because if you've got a shoulder issue, if you've got hip issues or knee issues, then we need to know how to train around that. And luckily, because I've had experience, again, training lots of people over the last few years, I have made a system that works around all these physical ailments. And if you have a shoulder issue, then do this exercise. If you've got a hip issue, do this exercise. So it's not like you can't train because you've got these issues. You can train around them, and then if you want to, you can start doing some mobility drills to correct the issues that you currently have. Now, of course, there's certain degrees of levels to that, right? Like I'm not the complete, absolute doctor expert on the physical body. So if there's something that is like we can't solve it with the exercises, then I'd have to refer you to someone who I know of who can help you. And that's the great thing about, being an expert in the space, right? Like I just have invested thousands of dollars into my knowledge and education in the physical body and training and lifestyle. So I have a lot of things to share about what I do to stay healthy and live a healthy lifestyle, and make it effortless for me. And I want to give it to you. For years I thought that this wasn't valuable information, but the older I get, the more I realize that people are asking me more about what I'm doing for my health routine. Because the older you get, the rarer it is to see someone who's actually healthy. It's kind of crazy, but most people fall off because what they do when they're younger is not sustainable. So yeah, they might look great when they're 25, but what they're doing to maintain that is not sustainable. So they stop. Whereas me, I made sure from early on that what I'm doing is sustainable, because that's the number one way to determine your trajectory. Is what you're doing sustainable, and are you happy with the results you're getting? Like when I first started mobility training a few months ago, I hired another coach, my 7th coach that I hired, and for the first month it was terrible. I wasn't getting any results. It was just like me going through the motions. But it's kind of like heating up an ice cube. Nothing happens after a few seconds, but after a minute you start to see some melting going on, and it just keeps going and going and going. And now my hip flexors have increased in length, and my groin is stretched out. I'm almost doing, like, my middle split is quite good, and my front split is improved. I can't do the splits yet, but it's in process, and I can see the progress after almost 4 months now. So it's a process, right? Like I can relate to you if you're going to the gym and you've worked out for a month and you've been eating right, you've been sleeping well, and you've been training well, and you're like, fucking hell, I still got this belly. I understand that feeling, because it's the same feeling I had when I was doing mobility training. Like you put in all this work and after a month you're still fucking nowhere. It feels like that, at least, right? And you're like, what the hell's going on? But that's the thing about success. Like there is something happening, but it's just that you can't see it, right? It's like a plant. I'm looking at a plant right now. Actually, it's a bamboo tree, and the bamboo tree is a kind of crazy story, right? Like it grows for 5 years. No, and 4 of those years, nothing happens. Like everything's happening underground. Nothing happens. And the 5th year, shoots up 60 feet in the sky in the 5th year. It's the same like us, like training. Like first month, I mean, depends who you are, of course. Genetics play a role in this. But typically, you're going to see results, but not crazy results in the first month of training. Especially if you're not training for a 6-pack. Like I used to sell back in the day, how to get a 6-pack. Alpha Shredding 1.0 was like all about getting shredded. And still, you can still get shredded doing this, like eating whole foods, training 3 times a week, taking care of yourself, taking care of your sleep, and having healthy relationships. You can still get lean, and you will get lean because you're eating whole foods. But that's not the focus. The focus is feeling better in your body and slowing down the pace of aging and really getting the right nutrients in your body so that you're not getting sick all the time. You're increasing your energy, your testosterone, and your performance so you can do the things you want to do in your life. And that's pretty much it. So if you've watched that this far, go ahead and click links in the bio to get more information on all the things I offer. And if you've got any questions at all, please put them in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want you to ask me some questions because, you know, it kind of gets repetitive for me. And this is something I've had to deal with, like this inner work stuff of like being okay with repeating myself. That's actually something that blocked me in comedy as well, because stand-up comedy is all about being able to repeat yourself. And as I say that, it's funny because every time I say I did stand-up comedy, people are like, "Oh, are you funny?" I'm like, "Yeah, but that's the thing about comedy. Comedy is like the highest form of intelligence, right? Like, it doesn't mean that you're funny. It just means that you know how to make a joke. And stand-up, performing on stage is different than performing in person, in a social setting, right? So, yeah. Anyway, I'm doing a video, and I'm talking about a serious topic, so that's why I'm more serious. But if I was talking about another topic, I'd be less serious. But anyway, I have to be okay with repeating my message. But that's my shit. It doesn't matter. You don't care about that. But I want to hear from you because I want to hear what questions you have. Otherwise, I just keep feeling like I'm beating a dead horse. But that's how it feels to me. How I feel doesn't matter. It's how I'm affecting and impacting your life with the knowledge I have in here. I have a lot of knowledge, but sometimes I'm just like, what do they want to hear, you know? And every expert, I don't like to call myself an expert because I'm just a guy figuring this shit out, but I've learned a lot of stuff that I can impart to someone else, so that I guess that makes me an expert. But you know, I'm just a guy that's figured a few things out with health and fitness, and I want to share it to anyone who listens. All right, so click link below if you want to get more information on how I'm helping you reclaim your manhood again, get your mojo back, get your energy back, and improve your performance in and out of the boardroom and the bedroom. Let's go, let's get it. All right, talk to you soon.